We are in the middle of draft season, and the Chicago Bulls reportedly already have their target set on a player. And it's a guard, according to Joe Cowley. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Hayes, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And according to an article from the Chicago Sun-Times written by Joe Cowley himself, take that with a grain of salt, but we're here to report on it, is that the Bulls are zeroing in on BYU's Egor Demin, but they are not alone. Demin, a suddenly hot name, could climb up to the top 10. So who is Egor Demin, right? He is a guard, not necessarily a point guard, right? But a guard. And that alone breezes questions about what does that mean for the current Chicago Bulls guard, which we thought we just had our starting backcourt established in Josh Giddey and Coby White. But when you look at Egor Demin, he's a guy that's 6'8", 19 years old, about 200 pounds. He does have a 6'10" wingspan, so he does have that. He's an amazing playmaker, His passing is next level when it comes down to that. He is the definition of a half-court general when you look at it. You want somebody who can run your offense, Egor Demin can do that by far. But the question now here is, what does that mean for the two guards that the Bulls have on their roster in Coby White and Josh Giddey, right? Now, if you see Egor Demin as a potential shooting guard, which again, we don't know exactly what his position is going to be. I think he looks like a point guard. There have been some people that say he can play shooting guard at the next level. He's listed as just a guard, which take that for what you will. But this is a guy who shot 41% from the field on just about 9 shots per game, 27% from three, taking about 4 of those per game. So about half his shots were three-pointers. He averaged 5.5 assists, 1.2 steals, and turned the ball over almost 3 times per game. But the upside there in Egor, that's the question. We knew that the Bulls need to focus on a center, and maybe this is hopefully maybe them throwing other teams off the scent a little bit, but I don't know, man. I don't know. In the same article, though, he does say this. According to a source, Maryland big man Derek Queen is sliding, but still isn't on the Bulls' radar because of growing concerns about his athletic ability and how that fits with Billy Donovan's up-tempo pace. He'll need a private workout with the Bulls to change minds. So it seems like the Bulls are out on Derek Queen, even if he does slide there, which, we've talked about the fit or they're not of Derek Queen potentially being on the Chicago Bulls, but this raises some serious questions on how do they see the future of the team? How do they see how good do you see Egor Demin ceiling being then if you're willing to take him at number 12 and ignore another position? Now, you guys know I like to present both sides of the argument, right? So I want to be clear here. While I do not agree with this pick, I want to be clear. I do not think the Bulls should be taking a guard unless they think that guard can turn into a star. And if that's their evaluation that they made of Egor Demin, then that's the player they should take if that's their evaluation. I don't agree with the evaluation, but if that's the evaluation they see, okay, cool. How do you address the center then, right? If you guys remember, earlier in the offseason, we heard that the Bulls had a number of center targets on their list, right? One of those being Day'Ron Sharpe. Another one of those being Paul Reed, who's more of a power forward but can play small ball center. And Naz Reid is out there, and reportedly in that same article, the Bulls are interested in Naz Reid. It just depends on what that price could be. You also have the centers that can go in the second round in this draft. Maxime Reynaud is one. Rocco is another one, right? He's another player that's very raw, but you could look to take at center, and maybe he does end up being your long-term center, right? He's another guy that's there as well. Danny Wolf could fall to the second round, depending on who you talk to. There's a possibility of that happening as well, right? So there are some number of centers that could go in the second round that the Bulls could be a little bit more aggressive about getting if they choose to do so, but it still raises some questions here on even if you do feel like you're getting your guard, your center in free agency or later in the draft, right? If you feel comfortable enough that you're going to be able to get that guy there, what does that mean for the guard rotation for the Bulls, right? What does that mean? And that's the question that I have here for this team. And if they are planning on drafting Egor Demin, does that then mean that they are going to try to trade maybe a Coby White in the draft to get back in it? Maybe that's their key to move up from the second round back into the first and get a center lower in this draft, right? It opens up a lot of questions and possibilities, but I don't know, man. Again, this is just me trying to talk about all sides of the argument of the conversation and see where it is there, but overall, I got some serious questions here. I got some serious questions, man. Egor Demin, the clone of Giddey, shaking my head. Hopefully he can play the forward position. He can't. And he's not really a clone of Giddey. Here's the thing. Egor is more athletic than Josh Giddey, and he projects to be a better shooter. But again, he's not. Josh Giddey is a good comp for him, but it's not like a 1-for-1 there, right? And I'm not trying to rationalize taking Egor. I still don't think you should take him. But, it is what it is. If we're targeting him, does that mean Coby's on the trade block? It could. It could very well mean that. I don't know for sure, but it could mean that. We got AJ in the building. Says, Big Drip, what's up, brother? What's going on, fam? Please don't do this to me 6'9" and up. Well, I mean, technically, Egor would contribute to that. He's 6'8" without shoes, so he's 6'9". I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know if that's what you want to say. He is 6'9" there, bro. Bro, that's too many white guys in the start. Get over that shit. I'm not with that stupid shit. I care about the talent of a player. I don't give a damn of what their skin color is. If they're talented, great. If they can work out, great. While AK Mark Eversley is seriously targeting another guard in the NBA draft. I wish I could say I'm shocked, but I'm not. I feel you. Wow, that's really interesting. I don't know what it's an ass pick. I don't think that's an ass pick. I think his defensive versatility lets him guard maybe 1 through 3, maybe 4, but I don't understand the offense. There's one ball, and we're trying to force him off ball. That's the question that I have there. And we've already seen Coby White is not good off ball. We've seen that. He does not work off ball, right? So we'll see. Maybe you know more than me about Joe Cowley, but name me one thing the guy Joe Cowley's been right on. Oh, he definitely called if you go back and look, Joe Cowley called the exact Zach LaVine trade. Now, he didn't have it being a 3-team trade, but he called he called that the Bulls were interested in Kevin Huerter, and Kevin Huerter would be the main piece coming back from the Sacramento Kings. He did. I mean, I don't like Cowley at all. As a person, I don't like Joe Cowley, but I'm going to call it down the line. He called that. He also was right on Patrick Williams needing off-season surgery once. He was right on Zach LaVine needing off-season surgery. He's wrong more than he's right. But I'm not going to act like the man's never been right on something. He actually has been. I'm just, despite my dislike of somebody as a person, I'm still going to call it down the middle. He's been right on some things. If Egor is the pick, does that put people like Trey Jones and Io on the block, maybe even Coby too? Well, Trey Jones, we can't trade him. He's an unrestricted free agent. We cannot trade. Now, we can sign and trade him if a team signs him and they need some help kind of facilitating that. But we already kind of knew that Trey Jones was going to be gone. And maybe that's the outlet. Keep in mind, we had Coby, Giddey, and Trey Jones all playing really well for us at the same time. Maybe they're looking to replicate that long term. Maybe that's the key. Maybe they see it as that being the thing. I don't agree with it, but maybe that's what they're looking at. Some of the best success that we had as a team was with Trey Jones, Josh Giddey, and Coby White being that guard rotation. Maybe they're trying to find a way to replicate that on a more permanent basis. It seriously seems like a Billy Donovan pick. Y'all know how much Billy loves his 4-guard lineup. I mean, hey, I can't knock you on that one. I think them drafting Egor means that he's running at the small forward. He's 6'9", and has shown some defensive potential. I wouldn't say he can play forward yet, bruh. He sure as hell can't shoot, though. Here's the thing. I don't think any rookie that we draft is starting right away, right? So maybe there's that aspect of it first, and then maybe you do think that that's going to be his long-term position. Maybe. When has Joe Cowley been right? Oh, I just talked about that. Last year it was reported AK let the Devin Carter rumors go crazy to make teams overdraft him so he gets his guy. I wouldn't be shocked if this was true again. AK is very secretive, and it's Joe Cowley. That is a good point. That's a great point. I spelled last name wrong on purpose. I feel you on that one. I'm okay with targeting him if we make other moves too, but if they straight up just waste our pick on him, nothing else, I'm going to be pissed. Listen, I'm right there with you. It brings a lot of questions on, okay, what else is happening? Because to me, whereas if you draft a center, I can see the offseason being very straightforward. If you don't draft a center, I think that you got to be a little bit more creative in some of the things that you do this offseason, personally. And I could very well be wrong on that, but we'll see. Andy, kid can play. Yeah, facts. The kid can play, right? I think that's that overarchingly, you're absolutely right. It's not like he can't play the game of basketball. The kid can absolutely play the game of basketball. That is 100% fact. Shooting needs some work. Turnovers need some work, right? But he is a baller, right? I'd have him on my board above a Kasparis Jonkiciunas, for example, right? If they draft him, Dalen Terry gone. I wouldn't say that necessarily because Dalen is on a very cost-effective contract, but you never know. I mean, long-term probably, right? I just want players who can play and are young and willing on defense. Well, that's one thing. Egor is willing on, and that's another difference between him and Josh Giddey. He is a lot more active on-ball defense. Like, he is a lot more active. He understands how to use his length a lot better on the defensive side of the ball, I feel. Happy Halloween, guys. It's Halloween where I'm at. That's hilarious. Is Halloween at different times a year in different places? Is that real? I didn't know that. That's a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy there. But, I mean, we'll watch it. We'll monitor it, of course. But it just is a very interesting thing to come out on this Sunday is that the Bulls are zeroing in. And then also in the article that they are not high on Derek Queen at all. There you go there. They are not high on Derek Queen. And so I know there's going to be another thing that triggers some Bulls fans that are kind of higher on Derek Queen. So seems like that's where they are right now. I guess we'll see where that leaves us, man. I guess we shall see. Is Egor any good? Look, Igor's good. As a 19-year-old, he's solid. I haven't seen star-level potential out of Egor. But Egor, like, here's what I'll say to this. If the Bulls didn't have Josh Giddey, and let's say that they were looking for a backcourt mate for Coby White, I actually think Egor would be really good at that. I mean, honestly. And so that's why I say it's not that I hate the player. The pick is questionable via where this team is and the current makeup of this team, if that makes sense. Hayes, you think the Bulls would be able to move back into the first round like 25, 22? I think so. Brooklyn Nets have 2 picks at 22 and 24, I think? 26 and 27 is where the Brooklyn Nets have back-to-back first-round picks. I think you could very well trade into one of those picks. I think so. Could be wrong, but I think so. Thank God they aren't looking at Queen. You know, there you go. There you go. If they're not high on DQ, I hope they can trade up for Malowach or maybe draft. So what? I mean, if you're going off this rumor, they're taking Egor, but we'll see. We'll see. I just don't understand then why Egor. This feels like another thing from the front office that has no idea what they're doing. Listen, like I said, the only rationale that I can give it is that maybe they feel they can get their center later in the draft. And keep in mind, a lot of the guys that we do like in this draft, a lot of the guys that we like in this draft are going to go later in the draft. Maybe they feel they can use the Portland pick, maybe their own future first, maybe their second this year to move back into it. Because, I mean, legitimately, Asa Newell slated to go somewhere between 16 and 20. Thomas Sorber slated to go after the Bulls pick as well. I've seen him go as low as 15th, 16th. Danny Wolf's another player that's going somewhere in the 20s, projected wise, right? That could very well change. So there's still a lot of the centers in this draft that are looked at as the better center prospects are going to go later in this draft. So I'm trying to add rationale myself. I'm thinking through my thoughts here. So I'm going to take that for what it is. Demin has good shooting potential. Here's the thing that I'll tell you. His mechanics look really good. So generally, if your mechanics are good, you can at least turn into a decent three-point shooter. I'll say this. This is what I'll say. He's starting off at a much better place with his mechanics than Josh Giddey on three-point shots. And we've seen how Josh Giddey has improved every year. So I'm not saying he's ever going to turn into like a knockdown three-point shooter. I don't believe that. But I do think that he does have potential to turn into a decent shooter. I think that. I think that. That's because of what I said. I don't know why y'all don't listen. Hello, Bull see Giddey has a point. No, they don't. Shut the fuck up. They don't. Listen, for somebody whose name has proved me wrong, nobody has to prove you wrong because you say some of the most downright retarded ass shit that I've ever seen in my life. And you always think you're cooking. You know, you know how they only laugh at their own jokes? You're the only person that sees the dumb shit that you say and thinks you cooking. Shut up, listen, sit back and stand by and watch the draft like everybody else, my boy. Watch the draft like everybody else. Positional less league, Billy would fuck around and have 5-man guard rotation on the court at the same time. If the guard is tall enough, I could absolutely see it. If the guard is tall enough, I can absolutely see it happening. But we shall see. Like I said, we'll see. And I'll leave it at that, man. But as Vaughn pointed out, this is definitely something that maybe the Bulls are trying to throw out some different things there. Are my Thomas Sorber dreams dying? Is Egor Demin news, AK trying to throw teams off? I'm nervous, Hayes. I need the draft to be already. It's going to be a very interesting draft. That's all I can say. The draft is going to be very, very interesting. So we'll see how that shakes out for sure. But like I said, for example, if Asa Newell is the target by the Bulls, and I want to be clear, if he is, there is definitely a chance that the Bulls could trade back into the first and get him. There is still that. So we'll see. We'll see. I do wonder if this is the add validity to the moving of Io. Well, I don't think Egor really replaces what Io brings, but, I mean, you never know. You never know. Maybe Coby going to the Magic for their pick and the Bulls will pick center. I didn't even think about that, John. That's a really good point. If they do end up trading Coby to the Magic for the number 16th pick, maybe it's a possibility. I won't say no, but it's a possibility. So we shall see. I mean, this is definitely an interesting case here for the Bulls, and ultimately we'll see what it ends up happening. It could be that nothing comes of it. It could be that something comes of it. But overall, I mean, we'll see what the Bulls do with this, man. This is very interesting because if the Bulls really do have a guard number 1 on their board, we'll see. Now, Joe Cowley did point out that Egor could go as high as 10th. And if he does, that means that he's off the board for the Bulls. And at that point, they'd have to move to their next phase. But if they are truly considering Egor Demin the best player in this draft, that means that they're open to taking a guard. And if they are truly open to taking a guard, that leaves a lot of potential on the table to do some interesting things. Thoughts on Jet Howard in the 6th? I don't know if the contracts match on that. I know Coby doesn't have an extremely high contract. I don't know Jet Howard's contract off the top of my head. But maybe. If there's any chance they're not going to be able to re-sign Giddey, then Egor Demin is a great choice. That's as well. That is as well for sure. So we shall see. We shall see, man. But overall, let me know your guys' thoughts, whether you're watching this live or after the fact. If that's the case, I don't want Cole Anthony or Jonathan Isaac back from the Magic. Well, I don't think the target then wouldn't be what you get back, because I think Cole Anthony's a free agent at the end of the year. I don't care if they get the 16th overall pick. I care about who they're drafting at 16. Whoever you get to make the contracts work, I'm not worried about. I'm really not. So even if it is Cole Anthony or Jonathan Isaac, if you're getting the 16th overall pick back in this draft, where you can get a guard and a center in this draft, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with whoever you get back to facilitate that happening. Not what I would do. Again, I'm not somebody who's on the board of trading Coby, but if that's the vision that you see here, I think that's a decent way to go about it. If that's what you're going to do, we'll see. We shall see. Again, betting on AK to see the vision that us as fans sees never really works out. But I guess that we'll see how it all shakes out and how it happens for this team, man. But yeah, I mean, maybe AK is working on something. Jet Howard would be the guy on target in that 16th pick. Okay, I mean, listen, but you know what? Sometimes, and I'll say this, as Bulls fans, sometimes we always try to get the best out the deal, and everybody should try to get the best out. I don't know how realistic that is, though. That's just my personal opinion. I try to be more realistic. That's why I don't really get into the heavy draft, the trade rumors and try to break down trades, because there's a lot of flexibility that goes into that. But hey, I mean, maybe it could be the case. Could be the case. Can you not take back salary from Orlando? Yeah, you could definitely take back salary from Orlando. Could be. So you'll see what the Bulls do hold out there. Kappa Man says, I'm not on board to trade Coby White. He's my favorite player. Bro, I feel you. I'm not. Listen, this is not Hayes trying to push forward this thing of let's get Egor Demin. This is just me reporting on the news and trying to talk about all sides of the conversation. This is what it is. All Euro lineup. I mean, hey. But all right, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in so much, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.